Hey, it is a quarter till 12. I've been having issues this morning with recording, so we're going to try to make this short. I have read all the way up to chapter 2 in American Cozy, and I can tell you this much right now without going into details, because today feels like it's going to be a difficult day. I know nobody's trying to make it difficult, but Jerry's having issues, and I am needed to be there to help her out. American Cozy has a lot of similarities to the Hagi Nordic Secrets. The difference is she breaks it down for everything. She doesn't just talk about the different aspects. She doesn't just talk about what they do in Norway. She goes and tells you in the beginning of the book that she has an American set of grandparents and a set of grandparents from Denmark. She goes to tell you a little bit about Denmark and the why Denmark is one of the happiest nations in the planet for several years running. She compares Denmark to other nations like other Nordic nations like Norway and Oslo, but she talks more about Denmark because of the fact of her grandparents being from Denmark. Chapter 1 is basically the foundations of being cozy, the foundations of finding out why you're not happy and what you can do to be happy. She compares both the negative people and the positive people and the differences and why they are the way they are, what could have happened to make them negative, what could have, what some people go through and they're still happy-go-lucky, positive type people. There are several bullet points in the first chapter that I wanted to talk to you guys about, but because of I now feel a little rushed and now feel like I need to be able to jump up and help out Jerry Ann at a moment's notice. And I know she's not doing that to me. That's me being me. That's one of the things that I have issues with, trying to be happy yet trying to be available for other people when they need me. But for the most part, this morning, and I'm not blaming anybody because this is all on me, I was having trouble trying to get a video started, and I tried to start this at like a quarter till 11, and almost an hour and a half ago, basically. Or maybe it's only an hour ago. I don't know. One of the things that I'm having problems with when it comes to trying to be happy or trying to live Hagi is when I'm in the middle of something like a project like this, and I've already had issues one from another because of my phone, me forgetting to turn off my alarm, which caused my first recording to get interrupted, and then I don't want to go into details because it's probably not my place to do, but Jan needed me and I wasn't available, so she had an issue. Our daily adversities, our daily, issues and aggravations and tribulations and whatnot can be a factor of how we react. And how we react can be a factor to our happiness. And I realized when I ran after her to find out what was going on, why she called me in such desperate tones, I was my first reaction, which is a reaction I need to change, was a reaction of aggravation. Aggravated that I had to interrupt my video a second time, actually a third time. Aggravated because I knew I was going to have to start all over because I would forget where I was and what I was talking about in the whole 9 yards. And I didn't want to continue trying to reread the same section of the book over and over and over again because it would be, it would take up time. It'd eat up time that I don't have or don't feel like I have. And that's one of the other things about trying to find happiness, is trying to make time for, or having time to spare for interruptions because of accidents or incidents or issues that need your attention. I'm not looking for you know, pointing fingers to blame on who's what and one thing or another. I um I don't need anybody jumping on Jerry about it either, because Becker, Jerry has her own issues, and her issues sometimes need my assistance. That's just the way the ball bounces, and I have to learn how to live with it. Just like everybody else needs to learn to live with whatever's going on that could be an irritation to them. Um, some people would say, well, if you have an irritation, try to steer clear of whatever is irritating you. Unfortunately, it's not that easy when you live with other people or you have a spouse or children. You can't avoid them. You have to deal with it. But we can learn how to deal with it in a positive manner. Sorry, my brain took a pause because I couldn't find the words. Um, I will tell you this much though: what I'm reading and what I'm finding out here in this American Cozy book is a whole lot more informational, whole lot more information, less backstory. She does throw in some backstory of her of dealings in one way or another, but she doesn't, focus primarily on Denmark or what they do in Denmark. She gives you a brief little look at Denmark and some of the knowledge or some of the information or whatnot that she has available about Denmark, but she doesn't drag it out, basically. Um, at least so far she hasn't. She's focusing on trying to get you the information you need to become cozy. Now, one of the things I will look at and will read real quick, and I don't care how many times I reread it, because every time I reread it, it gives me more positive knowledge. Um, Yep. Didn't want to go far that back. Don't even want to. Here it is. And this is kind of interesting because the factor she does tell you this, like I said, she gives you little snippets about Denmark or her past with her Danish grandparents from her dad's side of the family. But it says here, what do our emotions have to do with coziness? Because she's talking about emotional background. Um, So yeah, She talked in the first part before I got to this choosing comfort sector about what emotions are, how emotions play with how we deal with everyday life. Whether you've had a bad childhood or an incident or something that happened to you in your youth that caused you to become gave you basically you're at that crossroad where you have this, like for me, I'm gonna give you background using me. I after the fall of 86, 86 8 no 80 sorry 86, I was 15 years old. Dad died before the summer before I was 16. So 87. After the fall of 87, um, beginning of 88, I was at a crossroads because I just had a very traumatic incident occur. 2 year and a half, 18 months, lost 4 family members within 18 months. 2 of them a month apart. Um, I did not have this knowledge in my hand. I did not have anybody who could give me enlightenment on what direction to go. But I chose the wrong path. I chose a dark, dreary, path that just turned me into very moody, unpleasant, judgmental, quick tempered type person. And I was on that path for 20, almost 30 years. From the age of 16 to the age of So it had to be closer to 10 to 15 years because it was probably my mid 20s when I started coming out of the darkness, and I was still kind of irritable and judgmental, but not as drastically as I was. But our emotions do have a lot to do with our choices in life. And as she states here, what do our emotions have to do with coziness or the Danish practice of hygge, or hygge as we Americans would call it or say it? Choosing your emotions is a mindset trick that is the very foundation of a comfortable life. And it is something Danes are brilliant at. Um, then she goes to say, um, she's going to explain a little bit better. Humans are capable of enormous range of emotions. In fact, many of us experience a wide span of highs and lows at any given time. In the feeling, but feeling the, yeah, but the feel, sorry, slow down, quit rushing. In the feeling of comfort, a gentle, focused way of going through life has a hard time coexisting with these emotional ups and downs. They are distracting and break our focus from the good we have to in our lives. She's correct about that. I mean, I've already experienced a high and low within the last hour. My high was the fact that I was excited about this book. I was excited to read it. I was having a fairly good, excitable morning. Not like excitable, like couldn't control your emotions or anything like that, but was excited. I'm still excited about my life. I'm still excited about the things that I'm experiencing. But I had my low as well because Jerry had, her little accident and whatnot. Um, she's okay. She's fine. Just emotional stress, basically. Um, and right there, I mean, we could choose to either get all. I could have chosen to get all, uppity and demanding and self righteous and whatnot, because of what I was trying to accomplish in here, but was having my own difficulties, even though I was still happy about it. That was a choice. I had to step back for a second and go, give me a moment, let me focus, let me not, get out of hand. Let's not get the situation out of hand. So, that was a choice. I had to step back and take a breath and make my choice. And she goes to she has like several different bullet points, and I'm not going to read you the whole bullet point, all the bullet points. I'm just going to give you the title of the bullet point, and if you want me to, I can go back and read the actual bullet point. But it says here, make gratitude your brain's default place. So basically, just a quick synopsis without reading the whole paragraph. She's basically saying we need to make gratitude, being grateful for what we have, our default setting when we wake up in the morning, instead of letting our emotions basically rule the day. Like, I could have come in here this morning and been very uppity, very unhappy, not grateful for the factor that this space is starting to get a little bit cluttered because we're moving stuff around, and this room and the guest room have become dumping points. I could be unhappy about that, but you know what? I'm not. I'm actually grateful we're starting to work on the projects and do the things that we said we were going to do and set out to do. So there you go. I looked around and went, okay, yeah, there's a lot of great things I have. I found more candles I like that I can use in here. Yeah, I still can move around, and I woke up in the morning time. My bedroom was a little less claustrophobic and cluttered because we moved the small Filipino dresser that I've had for 50 years out. We're not going to get rid of it. We're just going to um, we're gonna place it in some place and I can't even think about the word now. We're gonna use it. It's just gonna repurpose. There we go. We're gonna repurpose it for a different room. So it might not be a dresser. It might be a storage room, and it you know might become storage for linens. It might become storage for some of my office stuff. It might become a dresser in a different room. Who knows? But I'm grateful for the fact that we're starting to do these projects. I am starting to see progress. So I'm grateful for that. Second one, notice one beautiful thing about every person who crosses your path. That's kind of hard to do sometimes because sometimes you'll see somebody and go, oh, man, you look. I mean, I've had people say this about me. They look at me and go, man, you need to shave. You need to trim your hair. You need to wear different clothing. You know, it's kind of hard to sit there and look at a person and go, what is it about them that looks beautiful? Is it their shoes, their eyes, their hair, their makeup, their fashion sense? What is it about them? I mean, and it's even harder when you live in a big city when you see homeless people or people who just don't look cared for. You know, it's kind of hard. It would be hard for me if I live in a city because I've seen a lot of people who wear clothing and I'm just like, dude, pull up your freaking pants. Um, so yeah, we need to find a way to look at everybody and see the beauty in them, no matter what. Here's one that I read and I went, this is gonna be hard for me. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Either stop complaining out loud or stop complaining internally. Don't dwell on a problem. Don't complain about a problem and let it perpetuate and continue within your brain because it will drag you down and make you unhappy. Say thank you. Now, that's one thing in my house. We're always thanking each other about whatever it is. I help Jerry with dinner or dishes or vice versa. We thank each other for it. We thank Mom for coming out and doing dishes after dinner when she does it because that's one of the many things she does to help out around here. So we're always being grateful for what we do for each other. Same thing when you're out in general public. Somebody holds the door open for you. Say thank you. Your waitress or waiter comes by and you know takes your order or brings your food to you. Thank them for that. Be grateful for that's one of the ways of being grateful is you're thanking somebody for doing you a service or a favor or whatever. The next one is celebrating small victories as well as mid-size and large victories. Celebration could be anything from, you do something that you feel victorious over. You ran that 2 miles and you feel great. Go out and get yourself a treat. Celebrate the victories, no matter what size they are. I didn't really celebrate a victory. Well, actually, I did. I stayed up a little bit longer playing World of Warcraft because we got a project done in the bedroom. We got a piece of furniture that we said we were moving out. We cleaned up and consolidated and purged some more clothing. It's a small victory, but still it's a victory. You're moving ahead. Let's see here. The next one, limit multimedia. Basically, she's saying it's difficult to be calm and happy amongst today's headlines, especially when you mull them over for hours on end. I'm reading this one because this one was I had to literally reread it several times to get my brain to understand what she was trying to say. So basically, what she's trying to say is limit how much time you spend on, watching the news, reading news lines, being active on Facebook or Twitter or TikTok or any of those genres, because sometimes when you spend too much time thinking about the news or thinking about what's going on, or getting upset because of something that somebody says on Facebook or one of the other various multimedia platforms that you might go to, it could be, basically what it is it's causing your brain to be grounded down without, basically with too much drama. So basically, she's saying limit your time dealing with news media or multimedia, because then you won't have to. You basically, what does she say? Your brain will be clearer, your heart will be more open, and you'll feel more focused and grounded without the drama and trauma swelling around in your head. And without the cortisol your body pumps into your system as a result of obsessing over media stories. So she's basically saying take some time away from media. Even if you're taking a day off, a week off, or a month away from multimedia. In fact, I was thinking about going onto Facebook and posting on Facebook that I was going to take a day or more away from Facebook because it's becoming too dramatic, too many drama queens, too much garbage, and it causes me to get irritated. And she goes on to the next one and says, try a social media fast for 2 weeks or indefinitely. The social media fasting entails taking a break from Facebook, Linkit, Pinterest, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, chat rooms, and any other visual arena where people come together to connect, brag, gossip, tear each other down, seek validation, show off their bodies or wealth, boast about their kids, or complain about their boss, and so forth. So basically, yes, number two. Okay, number one is basically media, which is basically news and whatnot. Number two is social media, which is all those platforms um, that you can get filled with all kinds of drama. So basically, she's saying the same thing I said about number one, but she's got two different separate ones. Number one, the first one, limit your media, is basically limit your intake of reading the news or watching news broadcasts. Number two is basically take some time or just totally stop dealing with multimedia platforms like I just read. The next one is find time for charitable work. Basically, she's saying one of the things that can help boost your happiness and whatnot is go volunteer. Your local soup kitchen, your local veterinarian office, your local. She gives one that it deals with animals. I went, I wonder if I could do that around here. Which one is it? ASPCA, Meals on Wheels, uh, local park cleanups, basically being service and giving you the opportunity to see that you are valuable, or vastly more important to the world than you assess than you are. Oh, more valuable to the world when you assist others, when you are spinning your wheels, creating craziness for yourself. So basically saying, instead of basically staying at home and going bonkers, get out there and do something volunteer. Work with your local soup kitchen, Meals on Wheels, things like that. Be part of your community. And the last one she says is getting professional help if you need it. That one kind of hit me hard because the fact that I keep on sitting there trying to, not saying I don't need a professional help, but just not going out there and getting it as I should be. If you find that you have trouble seeing the good in you, in your life, and in others, or if you feel depressed or anxious, consider finding a professional to help you feel more calm and comfortable. You are worth this investment. she's right. We are worth this investment. Sometimes it's kind of hard to understand when or where to go get the help. For me, it's more like um, not when or where. It's like trying to realize that I do need the help. Because I always feel that because of past issues, that most mainstream professionals are about as useless as a pile of dog poop in the middle of Grand Central Station. But that's just because I've had past issues and I need to get over those issues. Then she goes on and she says, do something. Um, and then I marked this one because the fact that this one sounded more to my needs than anything else is passivity is an urge or learned tendency to live at reduced speed, to gravitate towards whatever takes the least effort, even growing annoyed when asked to do something at that requires energy. Yeah, I get that. I get that because there are times where I just don't feel like I have enough energy to do anything, and I'm asked to do something, and if I don't feel like I have the energy, it's kind of annoying. Granted, I will do it begrudgingly, but that's because the factor, other people don't want to do it themselves, or can't do it, or cannot do it themselves. So yeah. Uh, and to opt for doing nothing, even when you really want something. This can leave you feeling negative, depressed, and checked out of projects, relationships, activities, and your own life. I mark that as important because the factor, not only do I have that tendency to basically not want to do anything because I just don't want to take the time or effort or energy to do it. Um, excuse me. The thing is, I know plenty of other people who are the same way or not, if or not worse than I am. Um, and I'm not going to mention any names because one, some of them are people I know, and two are just some of people I've had to deal with but don't know. I don't know what their situations are, but I see it a lot at work, especially at work. I've seen it a lot where people are just like, I really don't want to do it. I don't want to use the energy or effort to do it, so I'm just going to stand back and do nothing. I've seen that a lot at several of my jobs, and I go, why are you even here? But that's my own assessment. And unfortunately, most of them are people who are younger than I am, and here I am at 49 years old with back, knee, leg, arm issues, and I'm still pushing myself to get stuff done. Okay, the last part of chapter 1 is called The Wheel of Hagi. I'm not going to go into details reading the whole thing, but I'm just going to read this one part that I marked. Living mindless, or the flip side, being on constant, uncertain experiences. Hold on. Darn it, this is not the one I wanted to read. But anyhow, the wheel of Hagi is basically a wheel to measure where you are in your life. And it kind of looks like that. And basically what she says on here is go through this wheel, mark on the line where you feel you are in your life. And if it is not a perfect circle or does not go all the way to the outer part where my thumb is, you're out of balance. And you need to find a way to balance those areas. And I can tell you right now, I am really out of balance. I mean, when I looked at it, I went, yeah, okay. And the one line I did not mark on is career satisfaction because, well, one, I'm not working right now, so I don't have a career. Unless you want to call this a career, and if this is a career, I am not totally 100% satisfied, but I am more closer to like 95, somewhere between 95 and 99% satisfied because I'm happy doing this. I enjoy doing this. But I'm not 100% satisfied because I'm not up there in a good high level of um basically I see about 5% worth of improvement of how I do this when I do it and how much I'm making from it. But otherwise, I'm pretty satisfied with doing this. But anyhow, it says here, and the very last thing I underlined, and the last thing I'm going to do before I get off this, is choose to be comfortable, overcoming passivity, which basically means stagnation, and tackling areas of your life that can impede comfort. All of these contribute to the American cozy mindset. You'll want to you'll want you'll want in place as you move further into the powerful joy, ease-filled, life-changing journey. Um, so yeah, I see a lot of areas of in this wheel of hagginess um, that have a lot of improvement. I mean a lot. Now I'm gonna read you some of the things within this wheel. One is home comfort. How comfortable are you in your home? Be honest with yourself. Really, be honest with yourself. Are you comfortable, or do you see areas of improvement to make yourself more comfortable? Entertaining. I'm not that entertaining because I don't have a lot of people to entertain. I have my wife, my mom, myself, and you guys on here when I come on here. So I don't know where I stand, so I put myself kind of somewhere in the middle. Spirituality. Now I know I'm pretty high up there on spirituality, but I see lots of room for improvement, whether it's more knowledge or more practice. I don't know how you would judge spirituality because that's kind of like one of those things where you can be either very spiritual or you can be very religious. There is a difference. Um, I had found out where they explained the two, and I can't remember what book or where it was. Family time. How much time do you spend with your family? Be honest with yourself. Do you spend enough time with your family to make everybody happy? Are you happy with your family time? I'm not. I think I can spend more time with my family. I've been trying to implement game nights and days where we get together and play games. Um, Now that HQ has come back, and I'm not a big fan of HQ, I think, I can try to squeeze in more opportunities to sit down and play games of one sort or another that doesn't have to do with trivia or just some of the stuff that's on there is just kind of like, where did you guys get your information? Because I got information that says otherwise. Community. I don't spend a lot of time in my community, so it's really low. I'm pretty sure if I got involved in various community activities, whether it's volunteer or finding groups that I can, get involved in that I enjoy, that would make it better. But I know that's really low. Career satisfaction. Again, I already talked about career satisfaction. I didn't put a mark on that line because it depends on what you consider a career. If this is a career, I'm very satisfied with this. If a career is actually a job in the mainstream world, I would say I'm not satisfied because there's a lot of things that make me unhappy about it. Self-care. I put it kind of below or right around the middle point because there's a lot of things I could be doing that would be better self-care. Um, Medical appointments, doctors. I take fairly regular showers, so it's kind of like in between. Creativity. Well, I'm not a very creative person unless I'm working on drafting or Dungeons and Dragons or something that will make a nice game or nice whatever. But I'm so on creativity. I'm not 100% dissatisfied, but at the same time, I'm not 100% satisfied. Um, I used to do a lot of creative things between writing my short stories and, creating gaming campaigns for Dungeons and Dragons or games of one form or another that use your brain more than rolling up, anything else. Home comfort. Oh, is that where I started? I think I started at home comfort. Right now, well, I don't remember, so I'm just going to talk about it. Right now, my home comfort level is, it's not that I'm uncomfortable in my home, but I definitely see a whole lot of room for advancement. Blowing that out because as soon as I'm done, I'm leaving this room to deal with house stuff or Jerry or ooh, it didn't blow out. I thought it did. Must have been enough of a spark to relight it. But I'm really enjoying this book. I will probably devour at least another chapter and a half before the day's over with. Today is Wednesday. It's supposed to be our rest and relaxation day, but I do have some stuff that has to be dealt with, like laundry, dishes. Yesterday was garbage day, so most of our garbage is empty. Oh, gotta go out there and bring those in before gotta go outside, bring in my garbage cans, and check my baby tree to see if it's needing water or not. Even though it did rain a little bit yesterday, I go out there and I check the soil, and if the topsoil is starting to feel dry or dusty, I give it a little bit of water just to keep it growing, keep it healthy. Um, excuse me. I I have plans for this house. I have plans for what I can do in the future. We have plans for what we're doing currently. Um I'm not dissatisfied with what's going on. What I'm dissatisfied with is, and this is my thing, and I have to learn how to control it, is there are days where I feel like things aren't going fast enough for me. And I have nobody to blame for that because that's a me thing. That's a personality thing. Um, so I try my best to maintain a calm and center my mind, because I know if I get into those moods where I just don't feel like things are being done fast enough, or I'm seeing things that it's displeasing to me because of the factor it's not being done, or my biggest problem. This is my biggest problem is I get to a certain point where my brain is like, why am I trying to do to satisfy somebody else when I'm the one who's going to have to deal with it the most? And that's the cleaning, keeping things organized, keeping things straightened, things of that nature. And I sit down and I start getting on myself because it's like, why am I trying to do it somebody else's way when I'm the one who has to deal with it in the first place? Well, here's the reason why. For the most part, if I don't know where something goes, or I feel that there's no room for certain things, I want to get rid of it. I just want to dispose of it. I don't care how. I don't care if it's a giveaway, goes into the garbage, whatever. So, like recently, I was trying to put away some um, plasticware, some of our lock and lock storage plastic for for leftovers or food of one form or another. And I was thinking to myself, why do I have all this extra stuff that we very rarely use? Well, here's the reason why. This is Jan's reasoning. The reason why we have so many extra Tupperware pieces or storage pieces is, or anything, period. Let's say I got rid of all the stuff that we don't use that often, or we use it once in a blue moon, and that day comes along where we needed that bigger Tupperware plastic type piece, but I threw it away. So now we have to figure out how to divide it or downsize it to fit into smaller containers. And the more smaller containers we use, the less we have to use for other storage, other food storages. So I was like, okay, so we need to go through, and Jana and I have already discussed that we need to go through our kitchen cabinets and whatnot, cupboards, and decide how many of each item do we really need to keep, and when was the last time we really used it or really needed it for whatever purpose. And I'm talking about all our Corel, all our storage dishes, all our cooking dishes, all our pots and pans, everything we have in that kitchen, in the cupboards. And I'm hoping to be able to downsize to the point where we can get rid of the non-attached parts or non-attached cupboards can be downsized so we don't have to have so many extra cupboards. If anybody's ever seen like a video of my kitchen, you'll see that we have so many extra cupboards, and every single one of those cupboards, and you can tell which ones are part of the house and which ones aren't, are filled nearly to the brim of stuff: glasses, glasses, coffee cups, coffee mugs, cookware, non-cookware, storage containers, that kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of like, I'm to the point where I'm overwhelmed, and I'm like, don't know what to do. And none of it's new. I mean, most of it was either mom's or ours when we moved to Missouri. So it's because of the fact that instead of downsizing what we had combined, we just try to find space for it. And I'm like, well, right now, as it is, I'm the chief cook. I don't need all that. I don't need all this extra stuff. Half of it I don't even need. The other half is just kind of like, okay, where is it? I need to use it for this, and this. And that includes pots and pans and whatnot. And part of it that Jerry Ann said to me was, well, if we open up a bed and breakfast, aren't we going to need all this extra stuff? And I'm like, no. I'm not catering to the point where each individual person can make an order and decide what they want. If I have a bed and breakfast, I'm going to make the same thing for everybody. And most of what I make is pretty much liked by most people. I mean, yeah, there are a few people who are like, oh, I don't want ham on my omelet. Or, some people might be like, can you throw some roasted peppers or vegetables in an omelet? And no. I might take the ham out for the vegetarians, but I'm not going to pull out an extra pot or pan just to make, well, maybe, I don't know. But even if I were to do individual food items, I wouldn't need that many extra pots and pans. I mean, if you have the perfect setup in the kitchen, which if you've ever looked at most kitchens, you can see a diamond or a triangular pattern, because in the perfectly designed kitchen, the point between the sink, the stove, and the refrigerator should be of equal lengths. It should not be like stoves over here, kitchen's the sink is way over here, and the refrigerator's on the other side of the room. No, they should be within a short distance of each other. And now I don't mind the refrigerator being a little bit further away from the stove, because most of the time when I go to cook, I bring everything I need to the stove. But it's nice to have the sink within a step or two away from the stove, because I can easily make up an omelet, take the pan over to the sink, rinse it out real good, dry it off real good, and then cook the next item. But I have two pans that are of identical shape and size for that purpose, making more than one omelet at a time. But ergonomically, or anything like that. The kitchen has to be a certain shape and design where the three main important parts are of equal stepping distance. It's not in this kitchen, but it's okay. I'm still coping. But anyhow, to end this video, I if you guys, the viewers, decide that you're interested in any of the books that I have and you want to go out and rent, purchase, or download, if they're downloadable, any of the books that I read, let me know, and I will try to get you all the information off the book so you can purchase the book. I get most of my stuff from Amazon.com, and they're usually cheaper than the actual price on the cover. But I can get you the title, the author, maybe even the merchandise, the barcode information, and the price of the book if it's on the cover. I'm more than happy to share my my knowledge and whatnot, and help you if you want to have a particular book that I have in your library. I can get you that information. I'm not going to go through all my books to tell you what I have, but I can, if I read about it or talk about it and you want to see the cover or know the author and whatnot, I can get you that information. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments about this particular video, go ahead and put it in the comment box. If you're new to my channel and you want to hear more about American Cozy, the Hagee-inspired book, go ahead and click on the subscribe button, and then a little bell will pop up. Click on that bell, and YouTube will let you know when I put in my next video. So until next time, have a good day. Bye.